Hello guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, if you are new here, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. You guys don't know how much I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. And if you're here for the first time, my name is Bosinola and I reside in Sweden. Yeah, Sweden. And if you really want to know more about me, I have a get to know me video that you can get to know me. But brief about me is I'm a master student in Sweden. Yes, so yeah. So today I'm going to be talking about how to migrate to the UK using the teacher route. Yes. So in this video, I want you to watch to the end, okay? Because there's so much information to take in at a time, and I want you to be patient and listen well, so that you don't get confused, and so that you are not so that you don't miss out on any point. And I also want to say at this point that you should watch to the end of this video, because at the end of this video, I'm going to do like a summary for you, because this video I'm going to take you to the website first, and after the website then I'll give you a summary, because you might be confused about so many things. But at the end of the video, I'm going to simplify and summarize everything so that you can understand. Okay, so stay to the end of this video, and if you've not subscribed, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for just doing that. So let's go now to the website. For you to migrate to the UK as a teacher now, this is a route to qualified teacher status, QTS, for teachers and those with teaching experience outside the UK. So this is the overview. English teacher training leads to a professional teaching qualification called QTS. So this means the QTS is a teaching license in the UK. After you are trained as a teacher in the UK, this is the qualification you get, the QTS. This gives you the license to work and to teach in the UK. Now, if you are a qualified teacher from outside the UK, you can work as a teacher in England for up to 4 years without QTS. Now, I'll come back to that and explain a bit. I will expatiate more on that. So, what this really means is you can work in the UK. If you're a qualified teacher outside the UK, you can work in the UK for up to 4 years without QTS. However, there's more details to that, which I will come back to later. After that, QTS is a legal requirement to teach in many English schools. So this following statement is like, after, like, for you to teach in the UK, you need the QTS, like I've said earlier. So if you want to teach in the UK without the QTS for the 4-year rule, then after the 4 years you have to have the QTS, which is a legal requirement to teach in many English schools, and that is the only way you can stay after 4 years. I will come back to that details. Now let's go to teach in England if you are qualified outside the UK. Actually, this website talks about every aspect of how you can migrate into the UK to teach. But today, the purpose of this video is just to tell you how to migrate into the UK, like to teach, if you're not from the UK or if you're not a resident in the UK. Now let's go forward. So this is teaching England if you're qualified outside the UK. So let's go into that site. Now, it says find out about the visa and immigration route, qualification needed, and help available for overseas teacher who trained outside the UK. Now, I will stop to say here that right now you have to be patient and wait to the end of this video, because at the end of this video I'm going to be giving you tips, some additional tips about what you need to know about this migration process. Now let's go. So teach in the UK. Now, working as a teacher in England, if you are qualified outside the UK, this guidance is for non-UK citizens who qualified as teachers outside the UK. To teach in England, like if you are a non-UK citizen, you will need the correct visa or status, teaching skills and experience you can demonstrate to an employer, to pass criminal and professional safeguarding checks. This will be organized by your employer. Now, let's get to how to apply. Yeah, so working as a teacher in England if you're qualified outside the UK. So this guidelines is for non-UK citizens who qualified as teachers outside the UK. To teach in England, you will need the correct visa or status, teaching skills and experience you can demonstrate to an employer, to pass criminal and professional safeguarding checks. This will be organized by your employer. At least the employer who will employ you is going to do the steps for you. Now, the correct visa or status could be one of the following, like from the first that say the correct visa or status. Now, the correct visa or status could be one of the following: a pre-existing right to work in the UK, such as settled or pre-settled status, and that some people under the EU settlement scheme, or people that has indefinite leave to remain in the UK, or a job offer allowing you to apply for a skilled worker visa. Now, to apply for a skilled worker visa, it's another step on its own, and this video is basically not for it. If you really need me to talk about that, you can put it in the comment section, and I will do that for you. Now, of course, Irish citizens are not required to work to need a visa. They do not need a visa to work in the UK. Now, it is also very helpful to have a teaching qualification. This can be from your own or another non-UK country. English qualified teacher status, like we said, the QTS are compulsory things that you must have in order to remain in the UK as a teacher. Now, apply for qualified teacher status, the QTS. I already explained this to you before. They said is the professional status teachers in England gain at the end of teaching training. Teachers who qualified outside the UK can work in UK schools for up to 4 years without QTS. Now, I told you the other time that I was going to come back to the 4 year rule. Now, this is how the 4 year rules work. So, if you're outside the UK and you want to migrate to be a teacher in the UK and you're a qualified teacher in your country, all you need to do is apply for a teaching job in the UK, and then the employer will be your sponsor and apply for you. So you will get like a 4 years to work as a teacher in the UK. So all you need to do is get a teaching job in the UK and then apply for your skilled work visa. And however, obtaining QTS will make it easier for you to find work and develop your career as a teacher. Like I mentioned, like after the 4 years and you don't have your QTS, then you're not required to stay in the UK. But for you to stay in the UK, you have to obtain the QTS, which I feel like it's easy. While you're working in the UK as a teacher for that 4 year, then you can obtain your QTS during the process. And one thing about this 4 year rule is, for instance, if you have like a vacation, like let's say 2 month vacation during the 4 year, the vacation does not count with your 4 years. So the 4 years is strictly time that you've spent teaching. So that is just what the 4 year means. Now, they say, okay, however, obtaining QTS will make it easier for you to find work and develop your career as a teacher. This is because in many English state maintained schools, QTS is a legal requirement when the 4 year exemption period is up. Like I've explained earlier, you see, QTS is a legal requirement when the 4 year exemption period is up. In all English schools, QTS is used to assess the quality of candidates for teaching jobs. You see? So now, how to apply? Depending on where you qualified as a teacher, you may be eligible to apply to the TRS. Now, I will come to this later. That's why I'm telling you, you have to follow me carefully so that you don't get confused, because it's a lot of information. So even if it requires you to pen down or to jot down something, you can do that now. I will come back to this later, to this TR. Now, you could also apply for assessment only QTS. Yes, I will come to this QTS, how to enroll for your QTS. I will come to that later. Now, let's go to the visas and immigration. Now, this section explains the visas and immigration routes you may be able to use to work in England. Now, If you're from the EEA, like the European Economic Area or Switzerland, you might be able to apply for the EU settlement scheme to continue living, working, and studying in the UK without applying for a visa. Of course, if you're from EEA, you don't need a visa. So I'm trying to go to the international migration. Okay, now we are here. So search for a teaching job and apply for a skilled worker visa. The main visa route for non-UK teachers in England is the skilled worker visa, like I mentioned before. How to apply after you've gotten this about for how to apply for a skilled worker visa will be done in another video if you make the request. Okay, now to apply for a skilled worker visa, you will first need to search for a teaching job in England, like I've mentioned before. You can use the UK government teaching vacancy services to search for available teaching roles. Now, this is the tip. If you want to use the 4-year rule, you can go to this website to search for teaching jobs. And mind you, you have to be certified in your country as a teacher to be able to get a teaching job in the UK. Now, before you apply for a teaching job, contact the school to make sure it is a home office licensed sponsor. If the school is a sponsor, it can help you apply for your visa. Schools can also become sponsors to employ you. I've explained all that earlier. You'll be able to apply for your skilled worker visa if you have a job offer from a school that is a licensed home office sponsor. And if you can speak, write, read, and understand English, of course, you have to know how to read, write, and understand English. It's an English country. Then your salary meets the requirement for a skilled worker. Now, to get employed, to get a teaching job and get the skilled worker visa, these are what are these are the requirements. You have to have a job offer from a school that is licensed home office, like the home office is has licensed the place that it can be a sponsor. Then you should be able to read and understand English. Of course, you have to write. Sometimes some countries are required to take some English tests like IELTS, TOEFL, and co. Then your salary range, like the salary the employer is willing to offer, must meet the requirement for a skilled worker visa. Now, this is the salary requirement for a skilled worker visa. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the website where you can get this because I also feel like when you read this website yourself, you might understand more about this. Now, work as a teacher in England without a skilled worker visa. This section explains the other visa and immigration route you may be able to use to work as a teacher in England. Now, a graduate visa. If you're already an international student, now this is the big deal about people who are in the UK, who are students, who have gone for masters. This is another opportunity for you to remain in the UK. Now, it's called the graduate visa. If you're already an international student in the UK, you can apply for a graduate visa on successful completion of your degree. To apply, you will need to have a sponsored by home office licensed student sponsor over the course of your studies, just like the requirement states here, that you have to have like a sponsor which the home office has approved to be a sponsor. Now, the graduate visa will allow you to work or look for work in the UK for up to 2 years after completing your studies. Why it's 2 years for master's student and 3 years for PhD student. Masters and 2 years for masters and undergraduates and 3 years for PhD. Sorry, 2 years for masters and 3 years for PhD student without a sponsor. This includes working as a teacher. Now, this means that you, as a graduate, you can work after your school. You can stay in the UK for 2 years to look for a teaching job, even without a sponsor. So you'll be able to, once you get a teaching job and you get like a work contract, you can switch from the graduate visa to the skilled worker visa. without having to leave the UK if you meet the requirements. Now, there's another one that is the high potential individual visa. To be eligible for a high potential, you must have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, or PhD degree from a university listed in the university list. Now, there are some schools that the UK government has classified as high potential individual schools, and they have it listed out. If you come into this website, you will see them. They have the ones for 2000 now, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. For 2022, they have quite a lot of university that they've listed out too. So you have been sorry, you must have been awarded your qualification no more than 5 years before you apply. You must have your English language skills to B1 intermediate level. Then you must have personal funds of £1,270 and pass a security and criminality check, like the police clearance. You do not need an offer of a teaching job to apply for this visa, and you'll be able to apply to stay in the UK for 2 years with a bachelor's or master's degree and 3 years with a PhD. Now, this high potential individual visa is a go-to for anyone. For example, if you're okay, let's go into this website. So this is the list for 2022, and these are the schools for, I think, US California Institute of Technology. If you graduated from California Institute of Technology, then you can apply for the high potential individual visa. So a lot of schools, and if you're in Sweden, Karolinska Institute is one of them. I think that's the only one from Sweden. We have quite a lot from the US. Then if you're from in Germany and you studied in Technical University of Munich, then you can apply for that. So a lot, you can get the list here. So, but today is not for that. So let's go back to our yes. So so that's that for the high potential individual visa. Now for the if you really want to know more about this, like I said earlier, I will give you the website to this so you can check and pick which one is it's okay for you. So that is how you can teach in England if you're outside the UK. So now let's talk about how you can enroll to the QTS, that is the qualified training status in the UK. Now, so this is the route to the QTS. Like I've explained, and like I said, for you to teach in the UK and to remain a teacher, you have to have this QTS, which is a license to teach. But then, how do you get the QTS? Now, you have 4 routes for you to get qualified as a teacher in the UK, whether you are in the UK or a non-UK. Now, you can apply to QTS through the Teaching Regulation Agency. You can apply for QTS through the assessment only, and you can have like a teacher training in England, and then you can apply to train for international qualified teacher status. Now, I'm going to explain this one after the other. Now, to apply for QTS through TRA, that is the Teaching Regulation Agency. Now, I will pause to say here that if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe. And if you've not give this video a thumbs up, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you have any question that you don't understand, please put it on the comment section and I will answer. And I don't want it to be in my DM. I want it to be on the YouTube comment so that I can reply, and so other people who have the same question can also see the reply and understand, so that we don't get repetition of questions. So thank you so much. Now, how to apply for the QTS through TRA? You can apply to QTS through TRA if you have teaching qualification from this selected country. You can apply if you submit evidence that you are recognized as a teacher in the country where you are qualified, are not prohibited or restricted from teaching by professional sanction against you. When you apply to the TRA for QTS, you do not need to pay a fee, undergo any further training, and visit. You don't have to. For if you want to apply through the Teaching Regulatory Agency, it's only limited to this country, the EEA, for example, the Switzerland, then Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Switzerland, like I've mentioned, the US, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So you don't need to pay a fee, you don't need to go on undergo any further training or visit the UK to have this QTS. Now let's go then to apply for QTS in England and newly eligible countries. Now this is the deal. Sorry, I said the other time that it's only limited to this country because that was former. For now, because I'm making this video is in 2022, so for now it's still limited to this country. But the good news there is by 2023 in February, some new countries are added to this requirement. For example, Ghana, Hong Kong, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore, South Africa, Ukraine, and Zimbabwe are now allowed to apply through the Teaching Regulation Agency, that is the TRA. So, and the requirement for that is you have to pay a fee, you don't have to pay a fee, it's free. You don't have to undergo any further training or visit the UK to get qualified for the QTS. Now, it's say from 1st of February 2023, teachers who qualified in the following 9 countries will also be able to apply to TRA for QTS. This change is part of the launch of a new service. Apply for QTS in England from 1st of February 2023. The way we award QTS will change. Now, let me tell you, if you're seeing this video right now in 2022, my advice for you is to prepare your document down now so that by 1st of February you can apply before it gets competitive, because rules change, country changes things, they add more document or more requirement later. So for you to be lucky, so you have to quickly apply for this as you have to apply for this as soon as possible. Now, that is through the TRA. Don't forget I said for the TRA, you have to submit evidence that you are recognized as a teacher in the country where you are qualified. For example, in Nigeria, you have to be recognized by the Nigerian Union Teachers. Yes, so that is like evidence that you're a teacher. Then you have to be sure that you're not prohibited or restricted from teaching by professional sanction. Or maybe you have a sanction against you. So once you have these two, then you are good to go to apply to the TRA to get your QTS. And once you get your QTS, then you're on your way to the UK as a teacher. Now, to apply for assessment only, like this assessment only is you get your QTS only by assessment. You don't need any further training, you don't need nothing, they just assess you. Now, if you're not eligible to apply for QTS through TRA, assessment only QTS may be the most appropriate route for you. Assessment only QTS means experienced teachers with a degree can gain QTS without doing a teacher training program. You can apply to a UK government approved teaching training provider in England for an assessment showing you meet the standard for QTS. You do not need to visit the US. You do not need to visit the UK to be assessed and gain QTS. Now, working as a teacher while you undergo assessment only. You can work as a teacher in England and earn a salary while you are assessed for QTS. That's if so now this is where the 4-year rule counts. The 4-year rule means you can find a teaching job and apply for a teaching training provider offering assessment only QTS in the region of England where you work. Your employing school can support you in this. I've explained the 4-year rule earlier. So once you're under the 4-year rule, so you can do the assessment only QTS. When you apply for assessment only, you would have to pay a fee, not have to undergo any further training, not have to visit the UK. You can be in the UK also to apply for the assessment only QTS, and you can be outside the UK also to apply. So it's not compulsory for you to visit the UK to get assessed to get this QTS. Now, qualifications and experience, like I told you in the beginning of this video, that is going to be like too many of information. You have to take your time to listen. In fact, you can even watch this video 2 times so that you understand what I'm trying to tell you. So it's easy, it's pretty easy. Once you know the route you want to go, it's only too complex right now because I'm talking about every aspect that you have to go with. So when you try to pick which one you want to, for example, if you want to do the assessment only QTS, then you just research on this alone and then you apply. If it's through the TRA, then you can do that. So don't get it confused. I've mentioned, I say you have 4 routes to get this QTS: through TRA, through assessment only, teacher training, and the IQTS. Now I'm going to explain um the IQTS and the teacher training. Now these two, assessment only and the TRA, I've explained. Now let's go to, okay, let me finish with the assessment only. Qualifications and experience you will need to be eligible for an assessment only QTS. Now these are the qualifications you need: a minimum of 2 years teaching experience, a first degree, that is a bachelor's degree from a UK or non-UK university, an English language qualification, which is the same standard as a grade 4 GCSE, the General Certificate of Secondary Education in the UK. Now, let me explain. For you to get an English language qualification, the this grade qualification for English, you have to write your IELTS, like I've mentioned, English test in general. Now you have to have like a maths qualification that is the same as the grade for GCSE. Now if you cannot compare your grade yourself, you can contact, at the end of this video I'll give you the contact where you can contact them and you can compare your results, so they will tell you if you are eligible or not. Now, to teach children aged 3 to 11 in primary schools, a physics, chemistry, or biology science qualification, which is the standard, same standard as a grade 4, same standard also. So, a GCSE is an academic qualification awarded for examinations in England, usually taken at age 16. Now, to teach children from age 3 to 11, you have to have your physics, chemistry, or biology qualification that is the same as the UK standard. Now, what is the international qualification? If your qualifications come from a non-UK institution, your assessment only teacher training provider may want to see a statement of comparison showing how they compare to the UK. Like I've said before. Now, this is the contact you can call to get your comparability if you're eligible to apply for this assessment only. So they will help you to check if your grade is up to the standard to apply. Now, your teaching experience must consist of time spent teaching, have taken place in 2 separate schools, demonstrate you've taught to young people from a range of different backgrounds, demonstrate you are familiar with different approaches to teaching, learning, and school management. Now, for you to get as an international student, that studied in a non-UK institution, for you to be eligible for this assessment only QTS, you have to you have to have considerable time that you spend teaching. Then it must have been taking place in 2 separate schools. Like it must be 2 separate schools. It must not be in the same organization. Like separate school, not 2 classes within the same school like they mentioned there, or 2 school sites within the same organization. It has to be in different location, in different organization. Then you have to demonstrate that you've taught to young people from a range of different backgrounds. Then you have to demonstrate you are familiar with different approaches to teaching, learning, and school management. And one way to demonstrate this is maybe you have a diploma in teaching, you've done courses, a professional courses on teaching. Then that should be enough for you to show that you are a well qualified teacher, and then you are qualified to have the assessment only QTS. Now, your teaching experience can have been gained in any type of school. For example, international schools teaching the international and state-maintained schools outside the UK. And then schools, for example, UK has many international schools outside their country. For example, in Nigeria, we have British International School. For example, people who have taught in the British International School have, like, you have more advantage. Like, that can put you on a competitive edge. And it's stated here, the British International School Organization. So this here tells you all about that. Now, for you to get the assessment only QTS as an international sorry, what do I call you guys? As an international qualifications, yeah. So you have to pay like £1,500 to £4,000. So it depends on the provider that you're working with. So that's that. So let's go right now to applying for teacher training. Now, if you don't get your QTS through assessment, and if you don't get your QTS through the Teacher Regulation Agency, now you can get your QTS by having a teacher training in England, and you can also get that through the IQTS. Now, to apply for a teacher training in England is not free, so it's more or less like you going to study to be a teacher in England, and after that you get your QTS, and then you start teaching. So that's another way you pay, and the fee is like £12,000 plus your living cost. Then you have to undergo a year of full-time training. Then you need to relocate to the UK. So the teacher training is one year, but this is the cost. £12,000. So, and then you need to relocate to the UK. For the assessment, you don't have to be in the UK to do your assessment, and for the Teacher Regulation Agency, you don't have to be there to get that also. So that's another way. The teacher training is another way. So get trained in the UK, relocate to the UK, and then after that you get your QTS, and then you start practicing as a teacher. Now the last part, the last route is international qualified teacher status. International Qualified Teacher Status is a new teaching qualification backed by the UK government that is delivered online by English teacher training providers in partnership with schools around the world, meets the same standard as English QTS, and leads to the automatic award of QTS, is open to all non-UK citizens, and is currently available from 6 providers with plans to roll the qualification out more widely from September 2023, is the only international teacher training course that leads to the automatic award of QTS. Now, this is the good news. If you're not a teacher before, you can migrate through the teacher training, or you get trained. You use this IQTS, like you get the training online, and then you are awarded this, and it says there's a place, it says is the only, okay, like, yes, it says it meets the same standard as English QTS and leads to the automatic award of QTS. It's open to all non-UK citizens and is currently available from 6 providers with plans to roll the qualification out more widely from September 2023. Is the only international teacher training course that leads to the automatic award of QTS. You understand? That is the only international training. The IQTS is only international training. Other courses may offer valuable training but do not lead to QTS. So can you see? So this is the UK government telling you that. So when you apply for assessment only QTS, you will have to pay a fee, not have to undergo any further training, not have to visit the UK. So that's it. Like, if you do this, you don't have to, of course you have to pay a fee. You don't have to undergo any other further training to get to your QTS, and then you don't have to visit the UK to do this. So when they mean visit the UK, like, you don't have to be in the UK to get this. You can get this while you're in your country and then migrate to the UK as a teacher. So QTS exemption for teachers from outside the UK. Qualified teacher from the UK. Now we want to talk in depth about the 4-year rule. This is the QTS exemption for teachers from outside the UK. Qualified teachers from outside the UK are allowed to teach in England for up to 4 years without QTS, like I've mentioned in the beginning of this video. Even in schools where QTS is normally a legal requirement. You can learn more about this exemption known as the 4-year rule from the school employing you. Now, if you still don't understand according to the website, once the school employ you, they will give you more details about the 4-year rule. Like I've explained, this is just the 4-year rule. After the 4-year, or before the 4-year runs out, you have to have gotten your QTS done. So for you to remain, if you don't have your QTS, then you will not stay in the UK, because you have to be qualified to teach in the UK. Now, and one thing about the 4-year rule is, while you don't have the QTS, I think they might not. This is just a personal thing to give. You might not get paid like people who have the QTS, so it's normal for you to get it. There's nothing stopping you from getting the UTS. Now, to be eligible for the 4-year rule, you will need to have qualified as a teacher in a country outside the UK. You have to be qualified as a teacher, then successfully completed a course of teaching training recognized by the organization that regulates teacher in the country where you are qualified. So the 4-year exemption does not apply to PR rules alternative provision academies, alternative provision free school, where QTS is required from the beginning of your employment. After 4 years, teachers from outside the UK, we need QTS to teach in many state schools in England, even in academics, free schools and private schools, where QTS is not a legal requirement. It is used to assess the quality of candidates for teaching jobs. So you see that once you see after the 4 years, you have to get this for them, maybe for them to renew your permit or stuff. You have to have this, so it's easy for you to just get it while you're teaching. So I think that is all for this. If you have questions, you can put it in the comment section. And at this point, if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe. And if you need more details or you need me to do video about something else, you can put it in the comment section and I'll be willing to help you. Now, to do a quick recap on what I have said, for you to teach, you have to get your QTS. For you to migrate as a teacher to the UK, you have to get your QTS. And to get your QTS, we have 4 routes. We have the Teaching Regulation Agency, we have the QTS, we have teacher training, and we have the IQTS. Now, for you, if you want to read more about this website, I'll put the description in the description box below, so you can access this website with that. And I hope that at the end you get your visa. I just hope, just do the right thing and get your papers ready, get your documents ready. For Nigerians, Ghanaians, I mean, this is the TRA. It's very easy for you to do, so you should get that done. Like 1st of February 2023, put in your application, and I hope that you get it. So Ghanaians, Hong Kong, India, Jamaica, Nigeria, Singapore. So you're welcome back. So now I know that you are so confused right now. Yes, me too. I was confused at the first time, but this is it. It's just 4 routes. If you want to migrate using the teacher routes, like we've discussed in the previous website, we discussed in the website. If you want to migrate as a non-UK applicant or international applicant, it's 4 process. Like it takes 4 different types of routes. The first one that I want you to register in your brain is the 4-year rule that I've mentioned. You understand, you should understand these terms now. The 4-year, where you can apply as a teacher in the UK and an employer will sponsor you. I've said enough about it. Then the second one is the graduate visa. This is for people who are already in the UK, who did their masters or who did their bachelors in the UK. So this graduate visa, you can apply for graduate visa to look for a job and teach after your studies. Then the third one is the high potential individual visa. This high potential individual visa is for those who went to a specified university. Like I've opened the website, they have all the universities listed out. For example, in Sweden, the Karolinska Institute. If you went to the Karolinska Institute, then you can apply. You don't need anything. There's no stress. Just apply for the high potential individual visa to go into the UK. Then the last step is the QTS. We've said a lot about this QTS. QTS is like a teaching license of the UK for you to teach in the UK. Now, the QTS has 4 routes of how you can get the QTS to teach in the UK. The first one is the Teacher Regulation Agency. The second one is the Assessment Only QTS. The third one is the Teacher Training, while the fourth one is the IQTS, the International Qualified Teacher Status, because I have to write down, so I'm looking at my notes also so that I don't give you wrong information. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say now? You have 4 processes. It's either you go for the 4-year rule, or you go for the graduate visa, that's if you're already in the UK, or you go for the high potential individual visa, that is for people who went to certain schools. You can check the website, you'll see the list of the schools on the website. And the fourth one is through the QTS. This QTS, if you're a teacher or not, if you've not taught before or you want to change your career, this QTS is the proper one for you. Now, how do you get this QTS? You can get the QTS through 4 processes. Through one, Teacher Regulation Agency. This teacher regulation agency, you need no fee. There's no further training, no visit to the UK. You can check. To check if you are eligible for the teacher regulation agency. You can check your eligibility from the website that I showed you earlier on. Now, what is so particular about the teacher regulation agency? The good news about this teacher regulation agency is that by 1st of February 2023, some countries are going to be included, because for now it's just specified to specific country, the EEA countries, and some other like Canada, US are just the stipulated countries. But from the 1st of February 2023, countries will be added like Ghana, like Nigeria, Hong Kong. A lot of like 8 or 9 countries will be added, which is a good news for most countries. So this teacher regulation agency, it does not require you to pay any fee, but it does have requirements like I've showed you. You can check the website for your requirements. And then the next one is assessment only. This assessment only, you have to pay a fee. You need no further training, no visit to the UK. You understand the assessment only QTS. And then the teacher training, that's if you want to train to be a teacher, then you can relocate to the UK and take a teaching course for 1 year. Then after that 1 year, you get your QTS. Then the last one is the IQTS. That's International Qualified Teacher Status. Now to get that, you have to pay a fee also. You don't need no further training, no need to visit the UK. So can you see that I've tried to like summarize everything? Now let me give you a quick recap. There are 4 ways you can migrate: the 4-year rule, the graduate visa, the high potential individual visa, and the QTS. For the QTS, to get a QTS from outside the UK, you need either you go for the teacher regulation agency or you go for the assessments only. They have their requirements. You can check the website. I will drop the website at the I'll drop the website in the description box. I have so much information. I just want you guys to get it. You understand? Don't get confused. Then the third one is the teacher's training. For you to train, like you have to, of course, relocate to the UK, get your training for 1 year, and then you get your teacher visa. Okay. Then the IQTS, which is the International Qualified Teacher Status, that you need to do. You don't have to pay a fee, no further training, and no need to visit the UK. At this point, I think, and I also have a chat. I will put my chat. I try to like put it out in the chat, and I'll also input it in this video. And if you're at this point, you've not liked this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Please give this video a thumbs up, okay? Give this video a thumbs up. I'm going to say it 3 times for emphasis sake. So thank you guys for sticking with me to the end. And if you have any question, anything you want me to do, please put it in the comment section. I will answer to your question there. Thank you so much. And if you have any question about how to migrate into Sweden also, you can ask in the comment section also, or any country whatsoever. Yes, I'm here for you. Thank you so much. It's your girl, Bosinola, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.